Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Call of Dragons, we're going to talk about how to build out a Seraphic Faedrake, because I now am getting ready to build out my Seraphic Faedrake, and I realized I hadn't made a video, and it was time to dig in and study and think about what exactly I would go and do. And gosh darn it, I'm so close with this one. 7 skill slots, good luck score, amazing spirit score, low intelligence score. Bro, I've already got my 2-star talent skill ready to go. All right, Cheesy. Let's talk about how you use this pet and use the timestamps, jump to whichever part you'd like. All right. The first thing we need to talk about is the talent skill. Then we'll get a look at the heroes that you would pair it with, because that actually is super relevant to the effectiveness of this particular talent skill. We'll get a look at some of my alliance members and the pets that they built. I asked them a couple weeks ago. It might even be almost a month ago at this point. So we can get a look at some of their pets and how they did it. And then we'll put together what would be sort of like a final plan for, all right, Cheesy, but like what would your, 7 or 8 skills be? All right. So let's start with the talent skill here. Soul Source. Deals magic damage and heals both the Legion and whichever nearby friendly Legion has the lowest number of units remaining. This is kind of a big deal. Damage to one thing, heals you, heals something else. We are not done though, because each time an innate skill inflicts a buff or debuff, your war pet gains a stack of entreaty, and it has a max of 4 stacks that can be elevated. But those are removed when your war pet casts their skill. All right. And this gives a huge amount of healing granted and war pet skill damage. Wow. 10% more healing granted per stack and 5% more war pet skill damage per stack. So to me, this signals a couple things. And it's why I said we really need to look at like the hero pairing. Okay. But the reason that you need to be looking at that is that this is cool, but it's enhanced dramatically if you are buffing or debuffing with your heroes. And it has to be these innate skills. What is an innate skill? It's one of the 5 fixed skills that every hero starts out with. Okay, it does not include talents, but it does include the awakening skill. Okay, cool. So with all of that in mind, I want to point something out about this talent skill, which is that it does something kind of funky. It does healing and it does damage. I think that if you're going to enhance anything, it's not the healing aspect, probably. It's just the damage aspect that I would focus on. And healing ends up just being a perk of what the army is doing. And that's just the way I think about this particular path. There might be a healing build. I don't know. But when I think about what this is best for, I think it is best suited for open field battling. Why? Not rally garrison, although it might be fine there. But the reason that I think that is that a healing effect is something that in a rally garrison context, you can just sort of replicate in another way. And that is by reinforcing the rally or the garrison. So assuming that it's not like battling to the death somewhere, assuming it's a rally or a garrison you can reinforce, healing is not all that exciting to me, which is why for pure open field, I think this is really cool. Healing is really nice. It's an incremental heal. It's not major, but it's a little something, keeps you in the fight over time. That feels like it gives you a pretty moderate amount of value. Yeah. I like this a lot for that, okay? So if we then get a look at the heroes, the heroes that best work for this, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that we're looking at like Thundolin and Thalia and like just pair them together. And I'm sure there's other heroes that would work well, but this is what I'm planning to do, and I think it's going to work great. We need debuffs and we need buffs, okay? So right over here, you are going to summon lightning that follows the target, lasts for 6 seconds, deals diffused magic damage every 2 seconds to the target legion and to 2 nearby enemy legions. So in your perfect world, you're also inflicting numbness on the target, reducing march speed by 40% and increasing damage taken by 15% for 2 seconds. So does that mean potentially that I'm getting 3 stacks every 2 seconds? Yeah, you could build up a lot of stacks if that works that way. If it's giving you, there's no way that like it gives you 2 stacks if you're debuffing the same target, but with 2 debuffs in the same turn. I actually would need to look at some logs and try to, I'd have to figure out how that works. Okay. But the point that I'm making is like, there's just a lot of potential for building up those entreaty stacks just from this skill, but we're not done. Second skill, each time their hero grants a buff or a debuff, the hero's legion has a 30% chance to gain healing and vigor. There's buff. Boom. Okay, can be triggered once per second. because I would assume that if you're like debuffing 3 things at the same time, that's 3 chances to trigger this. So they got to limit the number of times it could trigger in a single turn. Seems good, right? So I think that's probably where, I don't know if granting yourself a shield also would qualify, but this doesn't grant yourself a shield. It just provides more shielding and healing. So that's fine. But I think shielding would qualify as having buffed as well. Let's see, deals damage to the target. That's fine. I think it's Thalia we need to look at next. She does buff, which like, okay, there's 1 stack of entreaty, right? And then over here, when dealing hero skill damage, Legion gains Keen and Shelter. And yeah, I don't know if that's 1 or 2 stacks of entreaty, but like, I feel like we've got ways to get the stacks going, is the point that I'm trying to make. And the number of stacks is in fact going to be super relevant because there's a bunch of skills we can get a look at. And in order to understand like what skills you might take, I asked my Alliance members, I said, hey, show me some builds. What you got? This was 3 or 4 weeks ago, but let me pull them up. Shout out to my Alliance members. We're going to go look at Romulus, Emperor, and Double Plat's pets here, all right? And again, you can see that this is from the 23rd of January. So I asked a while ago, and then I intended to make this video, and then I double back. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm building out this pet now. I should make this video. So what do they have here? They've got talent skill and also both pet-specific skills. They increase the crit damage. They give themselves crit chance, and they've got follow-up. So they say, hey, let me cast that skill all over again, which seems pretty good. The only weirdness of follow-up that I struggle with is that if we care about stacks of entreaty, you're going to, clear all your stacks of entreaty when the pet uses its skill and then follow up 2 turns later with no stacks probably. I mean, you might have a couple, but it's still worth. I think that's still worth. And then resonance. In fact, I think I would definitely build with follow-up because like it benefits the damage and it benefits the healing. And the weirdness of a pet that does damage and healing is that some number of these skills, I think, only enhance the damage, but don't help with the healing. Okay, so next pet. Emperor. Very similar build. Only difference here is he's increasing the crit rate of his follow-up. I probably would prefer the end of season skill that gives you an increased chance of doing a follow-up at all. But like, obviously an outstanding build. Amazing intelligence roll. Good spirit roll. Bummer on the luck. Bad luck on the luck, as it turns out. In fact, if we look at Romulus's pet here, yeah, she also got kind of wrecked on the luck. GG. Okay. Unlucky, literally. And then the final Seraphic from Double Plat. Really good rolls on all 3 of the stats or attributes that matter. Int, spirit, luck. This is really solid. They only have 1 of the pet-specific skills here, but I think once end of season happened, they might have gone and picked it up. Anyways, damage over here. Oh, this skill I like. Yeah, so here's the follow-up, and then this one increases the chance of doing a follow-up. So you can get like a really high chance of doing a follow-up in the realm of like, I want to say it gets like 80, 90, maybe even with a max roll, you could push close to like almost 100%. I don't actually know anymore, but yeah, you can do some pretty cool stuff there. And then, crit damage and then resonance. I will say this, like you don't take crit damage unless you take crit first. You see what I mean? Like crit damage doesn't do anything if you're not critting. So yes, they have both. And like, if you're prioritizing what to put on your pet, like I think you take this first and then you go for something like this. Okay, cool. Yes, I like these pets. Let's jump back in game and let's look at these skills a little more closely and talk about exactly what they do. All right, so the first thing we need to look at is the pet-specific skills, okay? And for the Seraphic, this is the one that you can just buy. And when it's 3 stars, every 40 spirit increases the maximum number of entreaty stacks you can get by 1, which is insane. That is insane. 3 stars, obviously, this is pretty pricey to get to. If we do this over here, let's see, Soul Source is the talent skill. Advanced Soul Source is the damage. Wait, do I? Oh, because I can buy it, right? I was like, I don't own this. What are we talking about? I'm not filtering by owned right now. Anyways, every 63 spirit increases the max entreaty stacks by 1. So if we look at like, even just a moderate roll on the spirit, like 300 is a good roll actually. We divide by 63. Yeah, I mean, you have about 4 extra stacks of entreaty, which is pretty legit, even just to the 2-star version. I'm mentioning the breakpoints here because, like, for your pet, the breakpoint is going to be super, super relevant for how you think about this skill and how far you take it. Do I think that more entreaty stack opportunity is a win? Yes. I think this is a good skill to pick up. I would put this at a pretty high priority because I think that has a disproportionate effect on, like, how hard your Seraphic is going to hit and heal for. To me, that feels worth. The end of season skill is, of course, going to be 3 stars. In this instance, it looks a lot weaker than it is because it's int and my int roll is really low on this pet. But you're looking at a solid, probably total of like 60% damage on a good intelligence roll for the pet. My intelligence roll is terrible. I think you can literally double my intelligence roll on this pet, which is kind of wild. Yeah. So huge boost to the damage. Do I wish it was boosting damage and healing? Like, obviously, yes, that's just better, but okay, can't do that. That's the next best thing. Soul Source, talent skill, the 2 pet specific skills, that puts us at 3 skills so far in my build plan. From there, I mentioned that I really like follow-up. So there's 4 skills. All right. Follow-up has a 40% chance to cast your Magic Rage skill all over again. It does a percentage of the effectiveness. And bummer, my int roll sucks. Intelligence really matters on this pet, okay? And then I would take advanced follow-up, which gives me a chance of just using the skill all over again. So I have a pretty good luck roll on this pet, right? Yeah, 247 is pretty decent. So, you know, with that decent luck roll, I've got the 40% chance base to trigger plus another 53%. Okay. Like I said, like we're pushing toward like 100% chance to follow up, which seems really, really good. Like really good. I feel like at that point, you're probably looking, if you had the skill slots, okay, if you had the skill slots, you might look to intense follow-up. But before you take intense follow-up, there's a better skill to take. All right. So the 5 skills we have so far, Soul Source, intense and advanced Soul Source, follow-up and advanced follow-up. Now we're looking at, I think, Magic Fortune. It's just crit rate, right? It's just crit rate is great. This is where we want to be, okay? So we increase the crit rate of the pet. I don't think that helps with the healing. Is what it is. Gives us more damage. Great. Love to see it, okay? From there, that's putting us at what? 6 skills so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that you could go the realm of Magic Spirits and giving yourself just a lot of crit damage. Okay, so that could be 7. And then intense follow-up could be 8. I don't know which one would be better, the Magic Spirits or the intense follow-up. Under the assumption you have advanced follow-up, intense follow-up gets really interesting. But it's still not as good as Magic Fortune, right? Like, Magic Fortune is theoretically giving everything this chance to crit. Okay, whereas this is only giving the same amount of chance to crit just to your follow-ups, right? So I think, if I understand that correctly, you would always deprioritize the intense follow-up, okay? And there is one other skill you could obviously use, and that is a spirit-based skill that everybody has enjoyed. That's Resonance, right? Pretty easy to do, elevates your damage, doesn't ask much of you. Very straightforward, right? So depending on whether or not you're using Resonance, we're looking at a pet that is very, very heavily focused on intelligence. Soul Source, advanced Soul Source, and follow-up are very important skills. Then I would say that luck ends up probably being the next most important if you go with advanced follow-up and Magic Fortune, especially if you take the intense follow-up as well, though. And then Spirit, which gives you Magic Spirits and intense Soul Source. And I feel like Spirit ends up probably being the least important attribute in my perfect world. But do we get perfect war pets? Typically, no. You don't typically get 8 slots. Fun to plan for it. Unlikely you'll ever get a banger of an 8 slotter unless you're going to commit a bunch of pet fruit, and that stuff's pretty pricey. All right. So I think that's how I'm building my pet. Even though these skills like aren't perfect, like Magic Fortune is giving me crit chance and the heal portion doesn't benefit from that, I still think that's better than going with like a hero elevating package like Light's Guidance, right? And that kind of stuff. I feel like the pet where you could make the strongest argument for hero enhancement is on the shadow, right? I feel like this is where you can make a good argument for just enhancing the hero. And even then I still didn't do it that way here, but like I did a little bit of that. But like the reason this isn't perfect. This was a placeholder and then I never got the skill there, but like this pet is making it so the target takes more damage. And with the right sort of set of skills, you can make that damage window last for a very long time, right? You deal a damage bonus to the target. That's where you can really justify, in my opinion, having just a hero-oriented package and de-emphasizing what the pet is doing. I don't even know if that's better, but like I can certainly see it, especially if you get to 3 stars, right? Like like you could get to like 8 or so seconds of the target taking it with my pet 17% more damage. Oh, that's a nearly max end roll. Yeah. That's a good pet, man. That's a good pet. I'm losing my voice. Got to take a sip of water here. Anyways, I think that's where I'm at with the Seraphic Faedrake. Will I take these skills to 3 stars on the Seraphic? Actually, no. No, I would not do that. And the reason I would not do that is not because I'm not interested. I mean, I'm very interested, but the issue is, you know, the price for the punch. And I think if you're all in on pushing the punch, huge win to go sort of do that. My game plan is that for rally garrison pets, everything's going to 3 stars. That's the way it goes. And those pets, man, when I did that, it hurts. It really, people really feel it when this pet hits, right? It hits differently. It really does. But you know, for an open fielder, it all depends on your budget. The punch level is absolutely there. It's just whether or not you have the pet coins, right? Absolutely. The punch level is there for 3 stars. But yeah, you know your budget. And there we go, man. The Seraphic Faedrake. I'm really hyped about the design of this pet. And like, I'm honestly like kind of inclined to just do some funsies regenerations here toward the end of the video. Just to like, I don't know, see where we end up. I know I could push the auto button, but for me, I don't know. I kind of enjoy it more. What happens if I hit skip? Whatever. I'm more of a fan of actually pushing the button every time. We see where we go, and we land where we land. It will be a lot of regenerations here. Oh, whoa. Slow down, Cheesy. How'd we do? Oh, my God. Not good. Not good is how we did. Bro, come on. How many legendaries should I cycle through, though? Actually asking before I'm like, It's such a bummer that like the one skill I would argue matters the most is the intelligence. And like it's 7 slots. The spirit is insane. The luck is insane. I mean, you could make the argument that like, brother, this is a pet fruit pet. But like pet fruit is for rally and garrison pets, in my opinion. And pet fruit's not easy to come by. So like, I don't know. I don't know if I would drop the int onto this thing, personally. Call me crazy. Ooh, we got there. How'd we do? Ooh, not good. Not good. I mean, the int is good, but like 5 skill slots, that's not gonna cut it, man. That ain't gonna cut it. We'll do a few more here, and then I think we call it. All right. But long story short, that int score and luck score matter a lot. It also depends on what end of season skills you're doing, right? So you'll make your assessment based on some of the stuff we talked about on kind of what you want to do there. As I fat finger away from the regenerate. Okay. Come on, Cheesy. You can do this. We're going to shoot the moon. Not on the moon bear, but on this pet. Come on. That was epic. Please. Let's do this thing. So many taps. Epic. It's making me build up to the one moment. Oh my God, epic. Epic again. Bro, come on. Do the thing. Make it epic again. Bro, make it worth every regeneration potion, please. Come on. Do the thing. We're hoping. And praying. Uh-oh. Chat, I'm under 4,000 regeneration potions. I'm basically zeroed. I have saved those up for so long. it pains me to save up so many stinking potions. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm a patient hoarder at times, but bro, at least the agility is legendary. I should just switch to this one. Huge upgrade. Okay. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the vid. All right. If you're looking for my recent Call of Dragon stuff, I'll have a card in the end screen. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.